This is the Vet Voice podcast with Veterans for America First. I'm Jared Craig, host of the podcast, and I have the pleasure of interviewing today Bishop Leon Benjamin, who, first off, I want to say congratulations on winning your District 4 in Virginia primary election. We're proud to endorse you from Veterans for America First, and we want the voters to have as much information as they can before early voting starts, before they get to the ballot. So if anybody had any question as to who I should vote for, we're going to give them that information. So Bishop Benjamin, could you share a little bit about your background and what motivated you to run for public office?
Yeah, well, God bless you, Jared. Thank you so much for doing this, and appreciate the endorsement from Veterans for America First. It's such an honor. And just a little bit about myself. I'm a husband of 30 years, father of 3, Navy combat veteran. I served in the Gulf Wars during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Also a pastor of 20 years. I grew up right here, homegrown in the city of Richmond, Virginia, basically all my life, and graduated right here, high school, Huguenot High School. That's where I actually met my wife. She was actually in the band with me. I was a drum major in the band, and she was a drummer. And I mean, just growing up in the city, elementary schools, lived all over the city, lived in the West End, lived in the South Side. Also, I lived in Fairfield Court. I grew up in the hood, so to speak. Not ashamed of my testimony. It's nothing but God that brought me to where I am today. I gave my life to the Lord during the wars, as actually Gulf Wars, Desert Shield, Desert Storm in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So I met Jesus Christ literally in the desert. Okay. And it's just, growing up and just understanding that as a former Democrat, we never really talked about politics in my home. We believed in hard work, though. We believed, in education, and we believed in family, all those conservative values. And growing up, we didn't talk about politics. It was not until I got older and started pastoring that I started getting involved in the issues, dealing with family, marriage, dealing with life, and civic responsibilities, all those things. And it was, I think God just kind of slowly moved me into doing what I'm doing now as a Republican, and not ashamed of my testimony. My family, all my children now grown, but we raised our kids, me and my wife, and they now, a daughter 26 who's now a school teacher, a son of 24. My youngest daughter is now in Old Dominion University. So we're empty nesters. And so it's been a great journey. And just knowing that our heart to serve the community, we have a daycare we've built over 12 years now, and lots and lots of kids. We know it's all about the children. And so it just fits right in. I didn't know it would fit in like this, but it just makes sense that it's not just about serving in a pulpit, but it's about serving the whole entire community on another or different level. And that's what I'm doing right now. And it's been a great journey.
Well, I appreciate you doing it. Stepping up is a great sacrifice. And what I've discovered is the people that are most motivated are those that have a life where they've been entrenched in the community in which they are running. And it sounds like you don't have a lot of on-the-job training here to figure out what matters to the people of the 4th Congressional District in Virginia. You probably know a lot of them by first name basis and have personal relationships with those voters. And I say that, you mentioned also that you transferred from being a Democrat to the Republican Party, and you're not alone. Tulsi Gabbard actually made a big speech about her recent transfer over, and that is kind of a different part of the red wave that I'm seeing due to the liberal extremists moving the Democratic Party so far left that the moderates are left with no one to vote for, and they're finding that they're more aligned with the conservative Republican Party. Do you see that in your district?
Absolutely. I mean, it is something where It doesn't matter where you come from, whether you black, white, red, yellow, brown, Hispanic, German, Irish, it doesn't matter. People are people, and we all want the same things. We want to be able to take care of our families. We want to be able to, to earn a respectable income. We want to be able to have safe communities. We want to be able to educate our kids without being interfered by government and being told what type of curriculum should be taught to our children. I mean, parents should be able to have the say so in that. And all those things everybody wants. That's not anything about party. We want safe bridges to cross over. We want clean water. I don't think there's a party behind clean water. I think every American citizen deserves to have clean water and safe communities. So all these things of what's going on in the 4th Congressional District are now becoming what we call shared values. These are things that we can all share in, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, it doesn't matter. Or whether you're just voting, as I'm finding out now, meeting a lot of people in my district who are now voting for the first time. Or how about this? We call them returning citizens. Some people call them ex-felons, but I call them returning citizens who are now getting their right to vote now. It's an exciting thing when I have people calling me saying, look, I just got my rights to vote again, and I'm voting for you, Mr. Benjamin. And that's a good feeling. So it's a lot of things at stake here. And how about voting for those who can't vote, like children? Right. Our votes count for more than just us, for those who can't vote, for those who would love to vote, but don't have the rights to vote. And it's amazing. It is our due diligence and our obligation to be that voice. And that's why I'm running. And I'm seeing it happening right now in my race in the 4th Congressional District.
Well, I find that a lot of the conservative Republican candidates are running basically on the platform of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As plainly as that sounds, that the common sense agenda hasn't been so common recently. So I see that there's a big opportunity for you to take some of the swing voters or the intermediate abandoned Democratic previous voters, the returning citizens, as you put it. In my private life, I'm a trial attorney. I do criminal defense work. I see the same people excited to get their rights back. And we see others who have the rights and take them for granted. Yes. So we can't just toss out a whole swath of citizens. You're right to focus on the downtrodden. And as a pastor, I'm sure you deal with those in need more than most. So I appreciate you doing that. And I think the people of Virginia will appreciate you representing them in Washington, D.C. Now, when you get to Washington, D.C., what's the first thing that you want to do?
Well, as everybody's been feeling the pangs now of this inflation, as Larry Kudlow has been saying a whole lot, here comes the cavalry. It's the inflation, it's the economy. If we can't stop the spending, the ridiculous spending, we're talking about through policy, through bad policy. I call it the Biden-McKeachin administration, because my opponent has been in lockstep with policies such as the Inflation Reduction Act, which has not reduced any inflation. As a matter of fact, it's caused it to go up. And it's also caused it to give out monies that have allowed people to stay at home and not work. So we're talking about not just welfare, we're talking about workfare, supply and demand. These are basic economic principles that are not working right now through the policies of this current administration and my opponent. And so the student forgiveness loan program is also tacking on more taxes, more inflation, and the killing of our Keystone pipeline, where we should be drilling and fracking our own natural gas. And our whole grid cannot operate solely on solar, wind power. It operates basically on fossil fuels. As a matter of fact, 70+%. And so this whole climate change deal we got to get a hold of our economy and not let these policies that have been sinking our nation into the ground and allowing ourselves to become dependent upon foreign nations for our own energy. An energy independent nation is a strong nation. And so we're going to have to deal with those things when we get right in there and curb some of these policies that have literally bankrupted our American citizens, and especially in the 4th Congressional District. And my opponent's been just raving on electrical cars when right now in California that they told them that they can't even use them for a few months because the grid can't even handle the electricity that's needed to actually manage an electrical car. So it's some things that we just have to do once we get in to get the money back into the wallets and the pocketbooks of the 4th Congressional District.
Well, you're right to focus on economic factors and market factors and the American job market. But there's also a bunch of social issues out there that I think that may be overweighted, underweighted, but they're at the forefront right now. As another prior Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard, brought up the social issues that have been brought up mainly by the Democratic Party to deteriorate the family, to disrespect religion, to devalue fathers in homes, to put a critical race theory out, to bring in the LGBTQ, whatever other letters that might be included with that as a primary issue in their campaigns. And recently, Kanye West stepped up and spoke out about that. So I know that you've answered questions about this on a few other interviews that I've had the pleasure to watch, but could you please share your opinion as to Kanye's recent statement?
I think it's really what's happened with the Democratic Party and with the extreme left. It's a breakdown in the family structure when we're talking about all lives matter, white lives matter. I think it really hit home when Kanye West comes out with a shirt saying all white lives matter. It kind of just knocks us right in the middle of the head, saying, okay, if Black lives matter, what about white lives? What about middle class family lives? What about those living up under a bridge lives? I mean, it gets kind of nonsensical when we start trying to put everyone in a box and not bring us together as a community. And that's the family. That's the breakdown, the social construct of the American family. And it's been hit hard by these ideologies. I call them, sometimes we call socialism or Marxism, which alludes to the fact of a new form of government, which this nation, we have Christian Judeo roots, and Marxism and socialism lead to communism, which takes away God out of the lives of every human being in order to form a type of elitism where only the small percentage of people have it all, and everyone else is eating out of the garbage can and eating crumbs off of the table, so to speak, that fall to the floor. And our nation was never made to exist under communism. And so with Kanye is really hitting them right in the gut. People may not agree with them. We're seeing Hollywood jumping on them. We're seeing that being threatened. If you wear a Make America Great Again hat, that you're going to get killed, taking away our free speech. This has gone too far. When right there in the Constitution, where it says Congress shall make no law that infringes upon all of those things, whether it be life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, free speech, the right to education, to good education is something that if we keep going the way we're going, America itself is going to fall so low on the academic scores, it's not even going to make sense. Our children are far behind, especially because of what happened with COVID-19. I mean, wearing masks, we will not know the dangers of what happened to our kids until maybe a few years down the road of what really happened when we prevented our kids from having the type of education that they deserve, when we put them up under so much scrutiny with masks and vaccine mandates and all those things. It's just, it's just really time now to bring the family back to the forefront. And that's what Kanye did. They call him Ye now. So Ye, that's what Ye kind of alluded to the fact that we need to get back to the basics again. And that's our family.
Well, I'm excited for your campaign, and we're going to be traveling your direction in the near future. And I hope to meet you in person if your schedule does match up with ours the next week or two. So I want the voters to also have access to where they can find out more information about you, your campaign, if they wanted to donate their time, or even more important, make contributions. Where would they go and how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, look, that's real easy. They can go to Benjamin, that's my last name, the number 4 congress.com. So it's Benjamin, the number 4 congress.com. And there they'll be able to see some more things about our platform, our economic platform. I call it Jobonomics, our educational stance, our stance for the family, stands for backing and supporting veterans, of course, you know, being a Navy combat veteran myself, what we're going to do to support our great veterans. And thank you for your service, Jared, and everything that Virginians for America First and Veterans for America First is doing. And we thank God for Veterans for America First, because it's highlighting, you know, the people that really, I believe, should be serving in leadership. And I appreciate you guys' support, your endorsement, and it's just good to have organizations such as yourself backing us.
Well, we will continue to support America First agenda candidates, and you are right there in the mix. It's a pleasure to meet you and speak with you today, and don't be a stranger. I hope after November 8th, we have you back on the show and you'll be able to celebrate a victory for your Virginia 4th congressional seat, and then get Washington swamp drained a few more inches. And the more we clear it out, I've said this year it's about flipping seats. Next cycle, we need to get rid of those that are pretending to be conservatives who are not. So I look forward for working with you, and if you need anything, please reach out to us. Okay.
Yeah, look, appreciate it so much. You know, my opponent doesn't even want to, debate me because of my stance on voter integrity. So it's amazing what's going on now. But I believe that because of what happened in Virginia in 2021, that red wave is continuing into 2022. So Governor Youngkin, Lieutenant Governor Winston Sears, Attorney General Jason Miyares, 7 seats of the House of Delegates. Let's go ahead and sweep this House. And that includes Virginia winning, I think, a majority of the seats in the congressional races going on in Virginia. So my hat's off to all of the candidates that are running right now to take back this nation.
For them to happen, we need to get the voters out. At this point, we need to get them out, tell them to get 10 friends and take them to the polls. So thank you very much.
God bless you, man.
God bless you.